What if the greatest danger of money was never greed, but forgetting why money exists at all? We are taught that money is neutral, that economics is a science, not a moral debate, that markets function best when emotions and ethics are kept out. But nearly 1,000 years ago, one of the most influential thinkers in human history warned that money without morality would destroy societies from the inside out. He was not a banker, not a king, not a merchant. He was a philosopher, theologian, and moral psychologist. His name was Abu Hamid Al-Ghazali. Today, his ideas are rarely mentioned in modern economics textbooks, yet his warnings sound disturbingly familiar in a world drowning in debt, inequality, and financial crises. So here's the mystery we're exploring today. How did a medieval Islamic thinker connect money, ethics, and power in a way that still explains modern economic collapse? And why did later civilizations ignore his warnings only to repeat the same mistakes? To answer that, we have to go back to a world where money still had a soul. Al-Ghazali was born in 1058 CE in Tars in present-day Iran. This was the golden age of Islamic civilization, a time when trade routes stretched from Spain to China. Cities thrived on commerce and scholarship. Markets, mosques, and moral philosophy were deeply connected. Unlike today, economics was not separate from ethics. Money was not just a tool, it was a social trust. Merchants were expected to trade honestly, avoid exploitation, serve real human needs. Wealth had a purpose: support life, justice, and spiritual well-being. But something was changing. As trade expanded, money became more abstract. Coins circulated faster, credit increased, speculation grew, and with it came a dangerous shift. Money began to feel valuable in itself, not just as a means. This is where Al-Ghazali enters the story, not as an economist in the modern sense, but as a thinker who saw the psychological and moral consequences of money before they became catastrophic. Al-Ghazali begins with a simple but powerful question: why does money exist at all? His answer is surprisingly modern. In his view, money was invented to solve a problem of exchange. Without money, a farmer with wheat might not need shoes, a shoemaker might not want wheat, trade would collapse under inefficiency. So money emerged as a neutral measure of value, a middleman. Here's the key insight: money has no intrinsic value. It exists only to facilitate exchange. Gold and silver weren't valuable because they could be eaten or worn. They were valuable because society agreed to trust them. Money, in Al-Ghazali's words, was like a mirror. It reflects value, but it has no value of its own. This distinction matters because the moment money becomes the goal, rather than the tool, everything breaks. And this is where the rise begins. As commerce expanded, Al-Ghazali observed a troubling pattern. People were no longer using money to meet needs. They were using needs as excuses to accumulate money. Wealth accumulation became a source of status, a measure of power, a substitute for purpose, and with this shift came three dangerous behaviors. 1. Hoarding. Al-Ghazali argued that hoarding money was morally destructive. Why? Because money only serves society when it circulates. Hoarded money is dead money. When the wealthy hoard, trade slows, workers suffer, inequality expands. Sound familiar? 2. Exploitation through interest. Al-Ghazali was deeply critical of usury, earning money from money itself. To him, interest represented wealth without labor, profit without risk, power without responsibility. He believed it allowed the rich to extract value from the poor without producing anything real. This wasn't just a moral issue, it was a systemic one. Money began to reproduce itself while society paid the cost. 3. The illusion of infinite growth. Money created the illusion that wealth could grow endlessly, but real resources, land, labor, trust are limited. Al-Ghazali warned that when financial claims grow faster than real value, collapse is inevitable. This brings us to the breaking point. Al-Ghazali believed societies collapse not because of poverty, but because of moral corruption at the top. When rulers prioritize revenue over justice, tax unfairly, allow exploitation, the social contract breaks. Markets lose trust. People stop believing the system serves them. Cynicism replaces cooperation. This wasn't abstract philosophy. Al-Ghazali lived through political instability, corrupt elites, scholars selling religious legitimacy to power. He famously walked away from wealth, status, and political favor at the height of his career, because he believed the system had lost its moral center. That act alone tells us something important. He didn't just write about ethics, he lived them. But what happens after the breaking point? According to Al-Ghazali, when money is detached from ethics, 5 consequences follow. 1. Wealth concentrates in fewer hands. 2. Debt expands faster than real productivity. 3. Trust erodes between people and institutions. 4. Power centralizes among those who control money. 5. Spiritual emptiness spreads even among the rich. People become wealthy but anxious, powerful but insecure, productive but unfulfilled. Society doesn't collapse overnight. It decays slowly. This is the most chilling part of Al-Ghazali's thought. Systems fail long before they collapse, when people stop believing in their fairness. So naturally, reformers try to fix things, but those fixes often fail. Al-Ghazali was skeptical of surface-level reforms. He believed you could not fix injustice with new laws alone, fix corruption with better accounting, fix inequality with charity while exploitation continues. Why? Because the root problem is moral psychology, not policy. If people believe more money equals more worth, power justifies exploitation, success excuses harm, then no system, capitalist, socialist, or otherwise, can save them. This is where his thinking becomes deeply uncomfortable. The system reflects the soul of its participants, and this brings us directly to the modern world. Today, global debt exceeds $300 trillion. A tiny percentage of people control most financial assets. Money is created digitally, detached from real production. Interest compounds faster than wages. Speculation outpaces labor. Financial markets move trillions while real economies struggle. Sound familiar? We've built a system where money creates money, risk is socialized, profit is privatized. Al-Ghazali warned that this exact structure would reward extraction over contribution, encourage greed disguised as efficiency, turn money into a form of power rather than service. Even modern psychology confirms this. Excessive wealth reduces empathy. Inequality increases social instability. Debt creates long-term dependency. We didn't invent these problems. We inherited them and forgot the warnings. Across history, Rome debased its currency. Medieval Europe fell into debt cycles. Colonial empires extracted wealth. Modern economies financialized everything. Different eras, same pattern. Money loses moral grounding. Power concentrates. Collapse follows. Al-Ghazali didn't predict the future through prophecy. He understood human behavior. That's why his ideas still matter. 3 clear takeaways. 1. Money is a tool, not a goal. The moment money becomes the purpose of life, society begins to rot. 2. Ethics are not optional in economics. Remove morality, and systems reward the worst behavior. 3. Power without accountability always corrupts, whether kings or corporations. Unchecked financial power destroys trust. Al-Ghazali believed civilizations don't fall because of enemies, they fall because they forget why they exist. They worship tools instead of values, they confuse wealth with worth. So here's the question he leaves us with nearly 1,000 years later. Can a society survive when money has more value than human dignity? Or are we repeating the same cycle just with better technology? If this perspective changed how you think about money, ethics, or power, like the video so others find it. Subscribe for deep dives into history, economics, and hidden ideas, and comment below. Do you think modern economics can exist without moral foundations? Or is collapse inevitable? Because understanding the past isn't about nostalgia, it's about avoiding the same mistakes